Moving on now, Anne. Not long ago, media right across the country and even internationally ran stories that you were legislating for sex contracts. And at the time, a lot of people thought you were joking, but others weren't quite so sure. And even now, I think there's still a bit of confusion out there. Anne, were you campaigning for sex contracts?
I wasn't campaigning for anything. I was responding to a piece of very, very bad legislation that the government had put up, the Rape and Sexual Assault Bill. One particular section of that bill, Section 47, which, according to law lecturers and also lawyers outside of the system, basically supported me in saying that this piece of legislation now left a man no defence against an allegation of rape. That it got down to the point where even if a man on a one-night stand gives a woman a false name, that now is grounds for rape. If he shows false ID, that is grounds for rape because he's misled her of his identity. So the whole issue of what is and what is not rape, the whole definition had changed. And it put men in a position, and it has put men in a position, where they now have to disprove a negative, which any lawyer will tell you is legally impossible. So it's no longer innocent until proven guilty, it's now guilty until proven innocent. And I made a comment in my speech that was said, as a joke. Perhaps now the government will consider legislating for sex contracts that men can carry around in their pocket next to their condom, because that'll be the only form of defence they'll have against an allegation of rape. And as the advertiser does, it took that comment and twisted it into something that was totally untrue and unreal. It was my way of making the point of the perilous situation that men are going to find themselves in when this law is proclaimed.
When the advertiser broke that story, it was reported as though you just decided to shoot your mouth off, so to speak. But it sounds as though you consulted extensively prior to raising your concerns?
Oh, absolutely. Look, I have an international network on issues like this and on men's issues and family law issues, all the way over to New York. And I sought consultation from a wide range of people. And the vote came back unanimously that this was a dangerous piece of legislation. And, I stand by what I always say, there's only one thing worse than no legislation, and that's bad legislation. And the interesting thing about that was that in a conversation with a senior member of the government involved in that piece of legislation, that they admitted they knew that that was a flaw. But they would just wait and see if anybody got caught up in the net. How dangerous is that? It could be my son. I had 4 sons. One of those could be, one of my sons could be caught up. One of my nephews could be caught up in that piece of legislation. People, that are watching this, it could be your family that is affected by a bad piece of legislation, which could see your son, your brother, your nephew, even your husband go to jail for a very long time for a crime that he simply did not commit. So I take that very seriously.
And thanks for your time. We've covered a wide range of topics today. It's been very interesting. Is there anything you'd like to add in closing?
Well, I guess I would just like to let the people of South Australia know that I am passionate about this job, although it wasn't my chosen career, if you like. I don't believe in accidents. I believe I am the right person in the right job at the right time for the right reason, and that my passion is about protecting the children, the parents and the families of this state, and being proactive in trying to help in whatever way I can with whatever issues they've got. And my saying is, for democracy to work, we have to work at democracy. And that means that every citizen of this state has to wake up, has to start taking an interest in the political process, has to start understanding what we do in here and why we do it, and even better still, asking the question of how is it going to affect them and their
Thanks, Anne.